AI philosophy, enabling humans to establish destiny for themselves and establish a mind for AI. Mozi, China's sage of science, and Archimedes, the father of physics in the West. Mozi was the first in the world to conduct experiments and theoretical analysis on pinhole imaging, and was among the earliest to propose the principle of the lever, the principle of buoyancy, and mechanical engineering techniques. He was also a logician who attempted to establish systems of epistemology and logic. Archimedes of ancient Greece proposed the principle of the lever and the law of buoyancy, derived formulas for the volume and surface area of spheres and cylinders, and is regarded as one of the founders of calculus. Click the plus icon to follow this account for more exciting content. Mozi, c. 476 c. 390 BCE, also known as Modi, was an ancient Chinese scientist, logician, thinker, and educator. Known as China's sage of science, he made incisive contributions to optics, mechanics, geometry, and other fields. Optics. Mozi was the first scientist in the world to experimentally and theoretically investigate pinhole imaging. He discovered the remarkable 8 principles of optics, hundreds of years earlier than similar Western findings. These included the principle of rectilinear propagation of light, the basic laws of imaging in plane, convex, and concave mirrors, scientific explanations of reflection, refraction, and other optical phenomena, the concept of light and shadow, explorations of the relationship between shadows and light sources, and definitions of abstract concepts such as light, shadow, projection, image, and center, principle of the lever. While Archimedes is traditionally credited as the first to state the principle of the lever, Mozi was in fact earlier. Mozi discusses the balance of levers, explaining that a steel yard balances because the root is short and the tip is long, referring to the relationship between the resistance arm and the effort arm. He further derived the mechanical formula, force x effort arm, tip, weight x resistance arm, root. Principle of buoyancy, Mozi states, a large body sinks shallowly in water. The explanation lies in balance. This means that a large object sinks only slightly because its weight is balanced by the buoyant force of the water, showing that the Mohists understood not only the equilibrium between buoyancy and gravity, but also had a quantitative conception. Definition of force. Mozi was the first to define force. Force is that which causes a body to move. In other words, force is the cause of motion, a statement consistent with Newton's first law. Mathematics. Mozi defined basic geometric concepts, including point, line, surface, solid, and circle, and developed a relatively complete system of decimal calculation, cosmological theory of space and time. Mozi viewed the cosmos as a continuous whole, from which individual objects and parts are derived. He defined time and space and discussed their finitude and infinitude, arguing that space and time are both finite and infinite, infinite as a whole, finite in their parts. Mohist mechanical technology. Mozi invented devices such as the repeating crossbow cart, rotating shooting machine, cart, and scaling ladder, and mastered hydraulic and tunnel engineering. He also developed a wooden bird capable of gliding flight, making him a founder of ancient Chinese kites. In addition, Mozi was a logician. Mohist dialectics, Indian logic, Hetu Vidya, and ancient Greek logic are known as the 3 great logical traditions of the world. The Mohists attempted to construct a systematic epistemology and logic, an achievement unmatched by other schools of ancient Chinese thought. Mozi proposed the 3 standards: root, origin, application, emphasizing the verification of theories through facts, experience, and practice as the ultimate criterion for judging truth. Mozi classifies knowledge by source into 3 categories: personal experience, similar to Western empiricism; inference and deduction, similar to rationalism; and transmission from authority, hearsay, or texts. It also divides knowledge by object into 4 types: knowledge of names, knowledge of realities, knowledge of correspondence, and knowledge of action. For example, in a statement, "This is an apple," this is reality and apple is a name. In Western logical terms, reality is the subject of a proposition, and name is the predicate. Knowledge of correspondence means knowing which reality matches which name. Knowledge of action refers to knowing how to perform practical tasks. In the chapter, Choosing the Lesser, Mozi outlined the 7 methods of argumentation, basic logical tools used by the Mohists to support or refute claims through various forms of reasoning and proof. Archimedes, 287-212 BCE, was a great ancient Greek philosopher, encyclopedic scientist, mathematician, and physicist. He emphasized the integration of practice and theory. His famous saying, "Give me a place to stand, and I shall move the earth," reflects his confidence in the power of science and his pursuit of truth. Physics. Archimedes discovered the law of buoyancy, stating that the buoyant force on an object in a fluid equals the weight of the fluid displaced, Fg. He formalized the principle of the lever, proved the conditions for lever equilibrium, and developed methods for finding the centers of gravity of geometric figures. Mathematics. Archimedes correctly derived formulas for the volume and surface area of spheres and cylinders and developed methods for calculating the area enclosed by parabolas and segments of circles. He is also considered one of the founders of calculus, using successive approximation and limit methods to calculate the volumes of spheres, cylinders, and more complex solids. His method of successive division to find the volumes of ellipsoids and paraboloids of revolution contained the rudiments of integration. Engineering. Archimedes invented many practical mechanical devices, including the water screw for irrigation, lever and pulley systems capable of moving fully loaded ships and models of the Earth-Moon-Sun system to explain solar and lunar eclipses. I am Wu Huaiyu, a PhD from the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a postdoctoral fellow from Peking University and the founder of AI philosophy. For more detailed information, please refer to the complete version of this book. In addition to this short video, you can also click on my avatar to view more long videos.